So I just saw Ninja Gaiden 2 Black release, and I knew I had to make this video. This is going to be an epic rant, but also a detailed video of why there are serious problems with this game, and how developers continuously hurt their own IPs, trying to appease casual players. Because there's a lot of misconceptions about Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden 2. And Team Ninja making these changes not only is insulting, but shows a lack of understanding of what makes Ninja Gaiden impeccable and timeless. I've been playing Ninja Gaiden for decades. Ninja Gaiden 2 is my favorite game of all time. Second to Ninja Gaiden Black. Third, Dead or Alive 4. I love everything about Ryu Hayabusa. The lore, the character, the design. He's so sexy. I consider myself a super fangirl. I beat all the games, including Sigma, Master Ninja. I played all the challenges in Black, Master Ninja, beat Ninja Gaiden 2 on Master Ninja. Every Saturday, I would play Ninja Gaiden 2 on Chapter 11, Master Ninja, because it was just so goddamn fun. But apparently there's a stigma regarding Ninja Gaiden games. Mostly of haters and reviewers saying that it's too hard, it's too punishing, it's poorly designed, and it's unfair. And what's worse is that it feels like Team Ninja internalizes this criticism. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the entire motivation behind Sigma. So, I'm going to explain in detail the core Ninja Gaiden's combat system and show you why this remaster is a complete bastardization. Now, one of the first major differences is the total lack of enemies on the screen. This is a huge step back, but I have to go into detail why. Ninja Gaiden's combat system is complex. In every chapter, both in Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 and 3, Ryu faces multiple enemies at a time. Most often from 3 to 5, could be 8 sometimes, 10 sometimes, and even sometimes these enemies would spawn out of the blue. These enemies have attacks, grapples, projectiles, and always attack simultaneously. On the highest difficulties, bosses were often occupied with multiple allies. These enemies also dropped ores called essence, which helped you with your Nimpo, blue helped you with your health, and yellow for your currency. Now, many players found this difficult. They had to minimize being hit while also defeating enemies for money. So some players would play very conservatively, play it safe, target one enemy at a time. You could do this, but the best and fastest way was to use moves and attack multiple enemies all at once. What's great is that the game rewarded you for being so aggressive. So the developers put in techniques that could hit all around in a greater space depending on the weapon. These moves were counterattacks, your Azuna's drop, and ultimate techniques. These are the fundamentals to excelling at Ninja Gaiden on all the game titles and difficulties, utilizing Ryu's moves to create a constant flow of combat. The more you use these techniques aggressively, the more money you got, and the faster you defeated your enemies. Yes, the risk was always present when playing aggressively. You could get hit and lose all your health, all your combos, and they would start all over. But it's more satisfying when it's executed successfully. Some people refer to these moves as iframes, I meaning invincible. Once a player has an understanding of Ryu's iframes, his throw, his drop, Nimpo, wind run, wind path, flying bird flip, counterattacks, flying swallow, ultimate techniques, finishers, and blocking, any situation, no matter how dire, becomes manageable. It's all a matter of skill. Ninja Gaiden 2 kept the combat system, but made it much more intense. 3 to 5 times more enemies were on the screen. Enemies this time were much more lethal as a unit with much more attacks, like suicide scraps, Nimpo, and incendiary shurikens. So developers drastically expanded Ryu's techniques to balance this. Nimpo got better. Secondary weapons, like shurikens, always stunned ninja, where you can instant kill wounded enemies, which could be used for iframes. Charging was faster for ultimate techniques, for all your weapons, and this time they were much more exuberant. They had longer move sets, hitting more enemies, dealing more damage, while pushing forward. To players who had an understanding of the fundamentals and the mechanics, this was a welcome challenge. Even though there was much more danger present, much more ways to die, the player had more options to engage each encounter. And with that, more risk, there was much more rewarding. It is much more fun to play this game than Black, in my personal opinion, but that's just me. But sadly, Team Ninja decided to drastically cut the number of enemies and aggressiveness in Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So each encounter feels less dynamic, it feels dumbed down and tamer. I'm going to show you both games side by side, and you'll see the contrast. It's an obvious way to appeal to the most casual players who can proceed with less skill required. Let me show you one of my favorite fights. The second encounter with Genshin. Let's see. One boss with multiple minions. First is going to drop this guy near Genshin. Notice how Ryu not only is unharmed, but dealt damage to Genshin while creating essence. Now, I just killed 3 more enemies, and Ryu is able to perform an ultimate technique. Now, I'm going to try to do that again, but this time I'm going to try to aim it at Genshin. Notice I was only able to deal damage because of the minions. Now let's look at this fight in Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. It limits the way that Ryu can engage the boss. No essence charge, no Zuna drop, which are your most powerful offensive moves. Chapter 11, Master Ninja. No doubt the hardest encounter in the entire game. 6 bosses, plus 15 incendiary ninjas, and I'm low on health. First things first. Nimpo. Using iframes. Now essence is available. Now, I'm going to use iframes again with ultimate technique. Nimpo, essence, ultimate technique. Also notice that Ryu is frequently being hit by incendiary shurikens and completely unharmed. One of the constant critiques of the game Ninja Gaiden 2 faced was that there was an excess of incendiary shurikens. But I'm going to show you how to manage that. I just recorded this footage literally last night. If you understand your iframes, anything is possible in this game. It's all a matter of skill. I want you to look at these back to back. These are the same levels. When I first saw this, my jaw dropped. It's literally a fraction of what was before, and this affects the whole feel and combat of the game. Because not only is it dumbed down, but there's no point in maximizing your weapons for such a simple engagement. Let me repeat, this is on Master Ninja, the highest difficulty. I remember the Gears of War multiplayer and how fun that game was. I remember a very small group of gamers complained about the wall bouncing and the Nasher, how it was too overpowered. Now, the majority of Gears players respected this because they were techniques and mechanics that had to be used skillfully. And then, Gears of War 3 came out, and the developers added the sawed-off shotgun. And the overwhelming majority of players absolutely hated it. Not because it was new, and not because it replaced the Nasher, but because it was a design choice to appease casual players' mentality, rather than take the opportunity to teach them the mechanics of the game. And it was dreadful. I literally see no difference in what's happening here with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. And that is sad to see, especially with a game as marvelous as this. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And share this video if you agree. Let me know what you think below. See you guys.